Hi guys, this is Meenu. Welcome back to my channel Storytale. It has been so long since I've done a book tag. I really love doing book tags because I love answering those questions. It is the month of June, that is why it is the best time to do a mid-year book freakout tag. Under this tag, I'm going to be answering some of the questions based on the books that I've read so far. Of course, you get to know about the books that I've liked and the books that I did not like, the characters I liked, the many things I'm going to answer in this tag. I really hope it is interesting for you because it is very interesting to me. I really love answering these questions. So now without wasting any more time, let's get into it. The first question is, best book you have read so far in 2022? The best book that I've read so far is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. It is such an interesting book. I really love the murder mystery, and there is also some sort of paranormal stuff in it, which was very interesting too. The storyline, the characters, everything was just amazing in this book. I think you should give this book a try too because it's such an amazing read. If you love a murder mystery which is based in a small town, and it also has a 60s or 70s vibe, so you're gonna love that too. There's so many things to love about this one. That is why this is my favorite book this year. The next question is, best sequel you have read so far in 2022? To be honest, I've realized that I've not actually read any sequel this year. I've only read standalones, which is kind of a freaky thing. I did not even realize it that I was doing that. I just read the standalones or the first books only, and that is very strange. I mean, I did not even realize it. How did that happen? And when I was just looking for the books to answer these questions, I did not find any sequel, so that was very strange to me. There's one sequel that is coming out which I'm really excited to read, and that is Merciless Ones, which is the sequel of The Gilded Ones. That is the one sequel that I want to read, but other than that, I've not actually picked up any sequels so far. So I do not know what I'm doing, but I've not read any sequel this year. So the third question is, new release you have not read yet but want to. I'm gonna go with the Merciless Ones again. The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna has been just released, and I do want to read it because I really loved the first book, which was The Gilded Ones. Though I'm not sure what the Merciless Ones gonna have, because for me Gilded Ones was like the complete book. It did not need to go any further. But I do not know what Merciless Ones actually have. I do not actually remember the synopsis of it too. So of course I have to give it a try and actually read what is in it. But anyway, I'm really excited to read this one, and this is gonna be my sequel that I read this year. So let's see if it's good or not. Fourth question is, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I do not actually have any most anticipated book for the second half of the year because I'm not really excited about any of the books. I'm going to be very busy the second half of the year anyway, so I will not get any time to read any more of the books. I'm going to be reading maybe, I do not know, 1 or 2 books per month. I'm not going to be reading that much because I'm going to be super busy. I'm going to let you know why later, but still I'm going to be very busy. But the 2 books that I've selected to actually answer this question is anticipated because I just want the series to get over. I do not want to continue the series more. I just want to read the last book and be done with it because I was so disappointed with the second book. It was such a disappointment. That is why I do not want to continue with the series, but I still want to finish it. Do you understand what I'm talking about? But I just want these books to come out so that I can just finish this book. The books are The Golden Enclave by Naomi Novik and Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. I just want the last graduate series to just be over. I like the first book, but of course there was like a lot of info dumping, and the second book was, I did not like it at all. I just liked the ending a little bit, but not the whole book. It was such a disappointing book. That is why I just want to read the third book because I am really hooked to, not the characters, I'm not going to say the character, but the whole school and the whole theme of it. So I just want to just get over with this book. I just want to finish it. And the same goes for The Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. It is the third book and the final book of the Chain of Gold series. So I just want to just end it. I know I'm not saying the series name right. I just remember the series name by the name of the first book. That is one of my flaws. I cannot help it. But anyway, I just want the series to just end. I am really hooked with the characters, not the story that much, but the characters are very likable. So I just want to see how the story actually ends. I just want to get over with it. That is why I'm waiting for these 2 books so that I can just get finished with this. The next question is, biggest disappointment so far. I'm gonna have to give it to 2 books. The first one is Gallant by V. Schwab, and the second is Stories We Never Tell by Savi Sharma. Gallant was such a big disappointment for me because I really wanted it to be a good one, because I have heard so many praises about V. Schwab, and I do want to read her book, The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, which is one of the biggest hit of I think last year. So I really wanted to read that book, but I wanted to start with Gallant, her latest endeavor. But of course, it was such a big disappointment. I mean, the premise and everything was okay, it was good, even the villain was good, but it was not executed well. I mean, the writing style and everything was very beautiful, but the story did not flow. The ending was such a lackluster, and even the motivation of the character was not that good. I mean, there were so many things that was wrong with it. The plot points, there were so many plot holes in the book. That is why this was such a big disappointment for me. And The Stories We Never Tell was my first book of Savi Sharma. I really wanted it to be good too, but it was such a disappointment again, because the characters I did not connect that much with, and the mother of the character was just preachy person, so I did not like that kind of characters too. There were so many things that was wrong with it, especially, but the best thing about that book was the talk about mental health, so that was the best part. But other than that, there was not much interesting story. I did not like it that much. That is why it was very disappointing for me. The next question is biggest surprise so far. I'm gonna have to give this book to A Plain Story by Anmol Malik. I was really intrigued by the book, the story, the characters and everything. It was such a funny book. I was not sure about this book when I picked it up. I was thought like maybe it's gonna be average or maybe below average, because I did not have much hope. But the way this book turned out to be, it was just amazing. I really loved everything about this book. I was like hooked from the start till the end. I really enjoyed the banter. I really enjoyed the premise. Nothing was wrong with this book. I mean, maybe one or two cliches and everything, but other than that, this book was just amazing. I really love the romance, the funny moments, everything, the excess, everything was just done to perfection, and I really loved it. I think it was such an amazing surprise for me, and I really loved it. The seventh question is favorite new author. It can be new to me or just a debut author. I'm gonna give two names. The first one is a debut author, and her name is Vaishnavi Patel. She wrote Kekai, which is again one of a very interesting and great books this year. I really loved Kekai. I really loved the writing style. I really love her adaptation, her thinking style. I loved it. I really loved her first book, and I just could not believe that it was her first book, because of the there's so many things that she did in this book, the research and everything, the writing style, everything was just amazing. I think she is one of my favorite authors now. And the second one I'm going to give to Anmol Malik, because I really loved her book, A Plain Story. It was again amazingly written. Like I said, the humor, everything, characters, everything was just perfect. That is why these two authors are one of my favorites now. The next question is newest fictional crush. Of course, so far. To be honest, I don't have any. I did not fall in love with any character this year. I do not know, not even a single character actually stood out for me. I did enjoy Kekai. I'm gonna say, if I have to like something, I think Kekai was amazing character. But other than that, I don't think I have crush on anybody, to be honest. I really don't, because I did not find any characters to be very standout. If this question I have to answer last year, it's gonna be Cash Breaker. I love him, but I don't think this year I have any. No. The next question is newest favorite character. I'm gonna give it to Kekai from the book Kekai by Vaishnavi Patel. I think she was such an interesting character. I really loved how badass she was, and I understand her struggle that she had to face in the world. So that is why she was a very relatable character. There are certain things about her that did not make sense, but other than that, I think she was such an amazing character. She is someone you can look up to, because she had to achieve a lot of things, but there were so many obstacles that she had to overcome. And there were also the certain things about her that she's not the perfect character. She is like someone who has flaws, but she's also trying so hard to get better. So that is why I really loved her character too. And the next character that I really loved was Noor from All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. I think she was an amazing character too. I really related to her. There were so many struggles that she had to face. There were certain things that was happening to her that she, of course she could not say it through words, so that is why she was trying to say it through other things. But of course you have to pay attention to actually know that. I also loved her connection with music and everything, and she was also a very great friend to Shahuddin, and she was like the perfect daughter to the Shahuddin's mother, and that is why her character was very good. I really loved reading about her. There were so many things that was happening to her, and still she was there for everybody else. That is why she is one of my favorite characters too. The next question is book that made you cry so far. So the book that made me cry was All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir actually hits a lot of emotions when you read it. There's so many issues that has been addressed in this book. Of course, it went a little bit overboard with the issues. There were like too many issues. But other than that, the main issue that this book had was really hard hitting. Especially when it comes to Noor, there was this one issue which she could not describe, like I said before. She could not describe it, and when we read it in the book, I think it was just so heart wrenching. And there are also many moments in this book which will make you cry. Especially there was this scene with the headphones where both of these characters were really sad, but then Noor puts a headphone in Sahuddin's ear because he was dealing with his grief, and she just wanted to be there for him, but she could not express it through words, so she did that, even though there were certain problems going between them. But still, I think that was a very sweet and nice moment that also can, overwhelm you. There are also many scenes in this book. The ending, the Misbah's character, everything. There's so many things that you're gonna like about this one, and I think this book is perfect to make you cry. There's also another book that made me cry, was Reminders of Him by Colin Hoover. Again, this is obviously a romance story, but also there's a lot of grief in this book, especially the grief of parents. How their son died, and actually how they have to live their life, and especially knowing that the person that killed him is actually back in town. They have to see her. That is one of the heart-wrenching scene. And there's the story of the mother also, who is wanting to see her child but cannot because of this thing that she did in the past. And of course she has lost her lover too, but nobody's understanding her feeling. Nobody's understanding that she is going through grief too. So again, there are so many hard-hitting topics in this book too that is going to make you cry too, especially the ending. And there's this accident scene which can be a trigger warning, but the accident scene is just so heart-wrenching, and when you read it, of course it's going to make you cry. So again, these two books are such a heart-wrenching book, and I really loved both of theirs. 11th question is book that made you happy. To be honest, there was not any book that made me happy this year. I mean, there are certain books that made me cry, but happy not so much. I mean, this year have not been very much lucky when it comes to books. I do not know why I did not pick many great books this year. Maybe there are 2 or 3 books that are really good, but other than that, I did not pick any very good books. Most of the books that I've picked up this year was average or below average. That is why there was not any book that actually made me happy. I was not, I do not know. Maybe a little bit A Plain Story by Anmol Malik, because it was a funny book, and it did make me, smile and make me laugh a lot. But other than that, happy, I do not know. I don't think I have, felt that emotion this year. I don't think so. No. The 12th question is most beautiful book you have bought so far this year or received. So this year I bought a book which I think was very pretty. I also loved the cover of Book Lover, the one that I received, and let me show you. I really love this book cover. I think it's very pretty. I really love the color combination and everything. This is not the version that is usually, we see on Goodreads, but this is a very different version, and I really love that I received this one because I think it is really pretty. I really love the color combination and everything. But my most favorite book that I've bought this year, which is like very beautiful to me, it's gonna be this one. I think it is such a pretty cover. I really love it, and especially this dust cover. It is made of something. I mean, it is made of paper, of course, but it has a very silky kind of a touch to it. I do not know what kind of paper this is, but it is like very good quality paper, and it is very silky smooth. I really love it. I also love how it looks from inside. Okay, I have some bookmarks and everything. I also love how it looks from inside. I mean, like, look at this one. Look at it. It's just so pretty. I really love it. I also love the color and everything. The color is going for it. It matches the theme of the book, of course. But I think this is such a beautiful thing. I really love this book. I think this is very pretty. I did not buy many books this year compared to last year, but still, whatever I bought, I think I really love it. But that is my most beautiful book that I've bought this year. Now we are down to the last question. The last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I'm gonna have to give that to The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue. I bought that book. I was really excited to read that one because I've heard so many praises about this one for a very long time now. Everywhere I see there's like The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue is such an amazing book and everything. So of course I want to give this book a try. I do not know the basic theme of this book. I do not know anything about this book, to be honest, not that much. Synopsis I've read, but I always forget synopsis. I just cannot keep it in my mind for long. but this book I think is going to be very interesting. It is a love story, if I'm not wrong, and the main character is like a mysterious character or something. So I really love when the main character is a mysterious one. I think that is the trope that I actually enjoy. That is why I'm really excited to read this book. I also want to finish with the Crescent City series, the first book and the second book. I am midway to the first book. I have not been able to finish it because it is 800 pages long. It's gonna take a lot of my time to actually finish it, but anyway, I do want to finish with the first and the second book too. I have both this book with me, so I do want to finish it as soon as possible. I know this year I'm not gonna get that much of my reading done because I'm gonna be super busy by the last 2 or 3 months of this year. So of course my video is gonna be uneven too around that time. But anyway, I'm gonna do my best to read as many books as possible and bring as many content for you as possible. Do let me know if you like this talk or join me with the questions. You can answer these questions yourself. I'm gonna put all the questions down below, and also I'm gonna put the name of the original creator too. I'm gonna do that because of course I did not create this tag. But anyway, if you want to answer these questions, you can of course comment down below. I'm gonna see you next week. Do not forget to subscribe. Bye.